wonderful to see people back in the church. I know I say this every week, but because I mean it, it's so lovely. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. Thank you also to you beautiful people who are watching us online today. Welcome to our service. Great delight to welcome our guest speaker today, Elaine Bennett. Elaine?
Sorry, yes, over me, right there. Yes, that's absolutely fine. Can you switch on your mic? That's brilliant.
Good afternoon, friends. Now we've got the technology sorted out. Thank you. It's nice to be back.
And again, good afternoon to all you wonderful people watching at home. Welcome to our service today with the wonderful Elaine Bevan. You all right, Charlotte? Lovely to see you, sweets. Thank you. So without further ado, I'd now like to ask Elaine for the opening blessing. Thank you, my dear.
If we can come together, dear friends, shutting out the cares of the world and just bringing together our hearts and minds. Divine and creative force we call God, we ask a blessing on those gathered here today. We know that they have lived through strange and troubling times, and they have drawn on your energy and your love in order to do so. We send our gratitude out to those who have worked so hard to sustain some form of normality for the communities and societies within which they live. We know they have given more than just love and energy. In cases, they have given their very all. And we ask that their new life in the spirit world, they will have been met with joy, love and upliftment. We ask too at these troubled times, dear friend, that each one of us may serve a purpose, part of your divine plan, that we may reach out to each other to support and nurture, to be of some form of strength or understanding, and that purpose brings about a greater understanding, not only of this physical life, but of the life eternal that we are yet to meet. And now, dear friend, we pass this service into your hands, asking that all that is said and done is in and through thy name, which is eternal love. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Elaine. That was a beautiful prayer. And now, friends, if you'd care to join together and say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Thank you. And now, Elaine, I'd like to ask you for your reading, followed by your address today.
Thank you.
My darling.
I've been prompted to bring a book called Rays of the Dawn, Natural Laws of the Mind, Body and Soul, by a gentleman called Dr. Thurman Fleet, who has since passed to the spirit world, but was very prominent in metaphysical spiritualism back in the early part of the century. And he takes a very, what I call, pragmatic stance towards spiritual growth. In the book, he takes the negative aspect of a situation and then balances it with the positive aspect. So I'd like to share with you a little bit from the chapter entitled Worry. The second destructive force of the human mind is worry. Here we must differentiate between good, healthy planning or constructive thinking and the destructive state of mind manifesting in the form of nervous anxiety or mental distress. In this case, the word worry means a destructive state of mind manifested in the form of mental distress concerning some person, something, circumstance, problem, condition or situation, and associated with the emotional state of apprehension, fear, anxiety, dread or regret. It is a psychological fact that thoughts must be either positive or negative. Negative thinking results in disease or disturbed mentality, either of which can destroy health and happiness. Worry, being negative, is an enemy and should be eliminated. If we allow worry to dominate our consciousness, intelligence becomes submerged. Only when we use our God-given reason are we able to remove this useless and antagonistic force from our consciousness. Not only is worry a diseased condition of consciousness, but it can interfere with normal functions of the bodily organs, causing many physical diseases, and also mental disorders of varying kind and degree. Worry depends on an incorrect interpretation in our consciousness. As humanity evolves to a higher state of existence, becoming more civilized and thoughtful, living less in the present and more in the past and future, the human nervous system undergoes a higher organization and becomes more sensitive, resulting in susceptibility to a disturbed condition of the mind. In this respect, we are more subject to worry and its effect than any organism of a lower order. Each of us must of necessity experience obstacles, problems, difficulties, and thwarted plans. These things are but challenges that we must meet. Either we must conquer them through elimination or adaptation, or else we become their victims and are subdued. A first law of growth requires that surroundings suit the needs of species and organisms, or else distortion can follow. It is paramount, therefore, that if we cannot overcome conditions, we must learn to adapt ourselves to them. When confronted by a problem or a situation that disturbs our peace of mind, we should meet the situation and eliminate it from our experience. If it is beyond our power to overcome the difficulty, then we must adjust to it. The solution of most of life's problems is a process of adaptation, the conquest of environment. Adjustment begins with what we contribute to experience, not with what we take from it. Now, the contra energy to that is hope. And when we meet difficult situations in life, we worry ourselves into a state almost of disempowerment, of not being able to get a step forward, of not being able to think our way through. And so we become stuck in the situation. So we become overwhelmed by the emotions, the trauma. And we know that the only way to move forward is to have hope that the future is already in place, that the part of us that is part of the essence of the Great Spirit knows this and knows how to move us forward. And then we have to take that final step. Now, for most of us, the last 4 months have been quite trying and troubling. And for a lot of families, it has been devastating. But also, at this time of worry and fear, we have been living with the hope demonstrated by those wonderful individuals who stepped forward, who reached out to other members of humanity to help, to assist, to aid. And they did so not from a sense of ego. They did so from the heart. hoping and drawing on the energy of whatever God they followed, whatever faith they worshipped in, for healing and upliftment. We have had many examples before us of bad behaviour during this time, of selfishness, of anger, of division in communities and societies. And watching this has been troubling and disturbing, because at a time of real stress, human beings usually come together and support each other. They usually take a strong position. For those of us over 21, we only need to think back over this century, and we have seen the best of people at times of great distress. But of late, it's almost as if we have seen the worst of human nature. And what has created this is fear and worry. People have moved out of the positive vibration of thinking, what can I do? How can I help? Into, oh, I don't want to talk to that person. I don't want to go out the door. I can't, I'm afraid. What if something happens? We all have the opportunity to be strong and courageous. Yes, we must be wise in how we deal with these situations. We must follow the right advice. We must take note of our own needs. But even in these times, the Great Spirit is allowing us to be of use. I, like most people who work in the churches, had to shut my circle down. So for the last 4 months, we have been communicating by WhatsApp. Some of you will know what it is, and some of you may not. I didn't until my granddaughter showed me how to use it. But it meant that at least once a week I could get hold of my circle members, check on them, talk to them, reach out. And I felt a bit silly at first, because you don't want to be giving messages over texts. But I realised the spirit world weren't going to take no for an answer. They were determined that if they wished to reach someone, so they would. And so I found that these weekly chats almost became a one-to-one message service. And I have to laugh when I say that, because those who know me well know that I hate doing private sittings. I'm such a coward. But the spirit world were determined I would continue to work. And what I found fascinating was my fear and my doubt in hearing them, sensing them, being aware of them, was quite profound. And yet, the moment they wished to speak to me and get information to someone in need, there was no doubt about the power behind them. And I was telling our dear chairman that my first active service was last week at Bath Road, and I was very nervous. And the congregation were like you, spread out, masked up, which is a little bit intimidating, I need to say, ladies and gentlemen. I'd rather see teethy smiles, but there you go. And I was worried that I wouldn't hear anything or sense anything, as you do. But the spirit world never have any doubts, They know that if they need that energy to be just so, it will be. If they need a person to be there, to reach out to, they will be. And I came away, I want to say awed. I want to say humbled. Because the spirit world never let us down. Never. We might let them down. We may confuse the situation, make it worse by our meddling. My mother, and I was telling Lawrence, my family are all Salvation Army, my mother used to always say to me, give the problem to God, then get out of his way. Because she knew that I would meddle with it. I'd worry about it. I'd pick at it like some infected lesion. And she was right. The moment we stand back and we allow that energy to unfold, we must have the hope in our heart that we're doing the right thing. But as soon as we allow that energy to unfold the direction it takes us will always be onward and upward. Nothing in this life has been sent to destroy us. Testers, yes. Puzzlers, maybe, but not to destroy us. You see, you cannot destroy the Great Spirit, can you? And what's in you and me and everybody else? A part, an atom, a tiny speck of that Great Spirit. Here, living the physical existence with all its trials and tribulations, but knowing deep down inside that whatever comes at us, we will overcome. Negative energy isn't just destructive to us individually. When we live in a state of negativity, unfortunately, we draw towards us other negative situations and people. And we find our lives getting more complex and unhappy and convoluted, and generally not the sort of existence we had aspired to or hoped for. And we can turn that round. We can change it by bringing that hope, that force of the eternal spirit forward in our mindset and in our hearts. I don't believe we ever lose the hope in our hearts. I think we lose the confidence in the mindset. And we start to see ourselves as somehow lesser than the next person, as somehow not worthy. And yet, you know, every one of us will have stories to tell that will make the person sitting next to us astounded at the strength, the wisdom, and the courage you have shown in your life. None of us have had easy lives. We've all gone through lessons that were designed to test us, to see if we carried on bringing forth that hopeful power, if we carried on looking for the sunshine through the clouds, and if we carried on seeking out that wonderful rainbow, reminding us of God's love, even in the downpour. My children tell me I'm an eternal optimist. I don't think I'm anything like an optimist, but I can see where they're coming from. I know that if something is difficult or challenging or worrying for them, they will get through it. I absolutely know that. Because I believe 100% that essence of God is going to rise above everything that humanity can throw at you. I believe that the power of love is the most powerful energy on the earth plane, more than hate, more than division, anger, fear, worry. I believe love swamps us with this wonderful vibration. And if you don't believe that, can I ask that you look at a mother the first time she sees her newborn? If you look into a pet's eyes as it gazes at its owner, and if you look at this wonderful world with no blinkers and you see it for what it really is, you will know that love is the strongest energy. It's the cornerstone of our growth. It is the pinnacle of society. Let's not subscribe to the negative thinking. Let's not worry ourselves into early graves. Let's be optimistic, positive, hopeful, strong, because those are the attributes that the Great Spirit has given each one of us. And those are the attributes of eternal souls who know that this is but a step. This is but a period of time until once more we return to that essence of God that we belong to. I know that when I go over, the Great Spirit's got a great sense of humour. It's going to say to me, oh, blimey, it's that woman from number 36 again. Well, she's finally passed, has she? Well, at least the prayers will be quiet tonight. Because I talk all the time to the Great Spirit. Because the Great Spirit knows how we worry. It understands the feeble human mind. and how it needs to be secure, protected, nurtured. And I have never yet felt deserted, alone, bereft. Because the moment that request goes out, the moment that thought is sent to the spirit world, so the channel opens. And flowing into each one of us is that power, that courage, that love. I like to think of spiritualists, and that's a little s, not a big S, because I think we're all spiritual, as rebels, really. We don't want the status quo. We want to push back boundaries. We want clear divisions. We want to stop separateness. We want to be inclusive so that every one of us belongs to each other. Every one of us is responsible for each other. And that doesn't matter if we're 1,000,000 miles apart. It doesn't matter if we're 5 inches apart. We're all kith and kin. We're all family. And just as we support family in difficult times, so too, when we see another human being struggling, reaching out for assistance, I'd like to think we're the ones that lean forward and say, take my hand, I'll help. Thank you for listening, friends.
Well, I don't know about anybody here, but I think we've all had our message for today. Absolutely beautiful. Elaine,
Thank you.
stunning. Now, picking up on the energies of which Elaine was addressing there, we come to that part of the service dedicated to healing. Obviously, we are aware at this time the practice of hands-on healing is not available to us. But it's a good time now to find out your own healing abilities, because we are all healers. We are all spirit. We are all having that touch of the divine and the divinity within us. For without it, we could not be. So we're going to go into a short meditation, and where we're going to link in with that healing energy. And please ask for that healing energy to surround yourself, your loved ones, your families, your friends, your foes, or further out afield, it matters not. It's your action to direct that energy, which is freely available to everybody without reserve. So if you make yourselves comfortable now, please, just gently rest. Just a little time focusing on your breathing. And as you do so, just feel the tensions ebb away. And I want you to imagine now, please, that you are stood atop a mighty mountain. The stars reach out into infinity all around and above you. But as you're gazing out into that starry sky, that you can start to create a bridge built of a wonderful blue energy. All the different shades of blues according to the needs, reverberating through each span as you build it up and outwards, reaching up to the centre of all creation, from where all love flows. So just gently, gently start to build that bridge. And as you do so, hold in mind the faces of those dear ones that you wish to send healing to. And as I say and always stress, never forget to ask for healing for yourself also. That is not selfish, it is selfless. Because if you're not firing and operating fully at your capacity, how can you help others? So just take this time now to build that bridge between your mountain top and the centre of everything. God bless you all. but leaving in place that beautiful creation that you and the divine within have built this day. Place of healing, place of connection, there for whenever you feel the need, there by your creative touch, and built in the name of service and love and healing. Amen. Thank you, Elaine. And now we hand over to you for the mediumship, please.
No pressure then.
No, absolutely none whatsoever. Crack on.
I'm at that odd age where I have to put one set of glasses on to do one thing and another set to do something else. So do excuse me. I don't mind not seeing you till I get to this part of the service. Then I need to go where I'm sent. So can I come to the lady right at back in the white? Thank you, sweetheart. May I speak to you? Thank you. I was very aware of a Buddhist monk stood behind you throughout the healing particularly. So I feel healing vibration is very powerful around you. Do you understand this?
Okay.
No, say yes or no, darling. Say no if you want to, it's not a problem.
No.
So you don't do any sort of healing? No. All right. Can I ask then, do you hold people in your thoughts when you... Thank you, okay. Because I have this very clear Buddhist monk, beautiful saffron robe, stood behind you. And I know that his role is healing, it's taking away pain and suffering. And if you don't do hands-on, then I feel he must work through your thoughts and your prayers, sweetheart. Okay. And I feel that because you're not aware of him, you will get him back through other mediums, because at the end of the day, the spirit world like to give us evidence. And if 9 out of 10 mediums see the same spirit, you have to get the point that they tend to be there. Okay. But I'm asking him just to stand to one side now so we can bring in someone closer to you. I have a lady coming in now who comes in from mother's side of the family. She's taller than me. I'm 4'9", so she's not tall, but she's taller than me. And she has, I want to say, a less padded disposition. Can I put it that way, please? Thank you. She's laughing at me. She said she was built for comfort, not speed like me. So I know there was a wiry tenacity to this lady. That's how I want to put it. I also have quite a strong mindset in this lady. And so I feel I'm looking at a blood relative on mother's side. Would your maternal grandmother have been rather a strong-minded lady?
Yes.
Thank you. Because she's laughing at you now and she's saying, for all the soft curves, she's as bad as I was. So I know you must have quite a strong self-discipline. Can I put it that way to you? So is that your man next door? You haven't just borrowed him then? Okay, I'm just checking because I was looking at the look he gave you when she talked about the strong mindset. But thank you. She's saying it would be nicer to say it's determination. Can I say it that way then? Because we don't want to offend you. And as she's linking on that vibration of determination, she's telling me there have been obstacles in your life where it was only your pure self-determination that held you together to get through them. Do you understand this?
Yes.
And I want to say they were always involving other people, she tells me. And to the point that you almost thought, why do we bother with people? Thank you. She's laughing at you now. She's saying, and that little angel on your other shoulder said, because you're here and you're spirit, so you have to bother with them. Thank you. Would you understand why I suddenly see an old-fashioned steam train going past? Is there someone that would have had connections with the old-fashioned trains, please?
Possibly. Yeah, there is someone that.
Okay, all right, just a yes or no does. It's just, no, it's fine. It's just until you say yes or no, I can't get rid of the steam train. So it rather causes a bit of a log jam in the spiritual energy. So I feel you're just, that person is being reminded to you, okay. But I also, I'm getting 2 names struggling to come through. And I want a Martha, which goes back quite some way. But I'm also getting a Mark, which is a much younger energy. And I feel Martha's not close family, but I do want to go out from the family, you know, where you have sort of second cousin twice removed. I feel I want to go out on that level for Martha. But the Mark energy comes in more as someone you knew rather than someone who belongs to your blood relative. Do you understand that name? Thank you. Because as that Mark energy is beginning to connect with me, I want to say I've got a strong, determined, outspoken energy around me. Would you understand that? And thank you, sir. And quite young. I know I look very young, but I'm not. But he's quite young, I need to say to you, because I was just joking with him. I said, you know, if we're in a dark corner, you're on my side. And he said, always. So this man wasn't afraid to stand up for what he believed in. Would you understand that? And I know that as he says that, there have been times, particularly, I want to say, in the last 10 years, where you literally have had to stand up for what you believed in, no matter what it cost you. Do you understand? Thank you. And the spirit world, they're reflecting on this because there's this teacher's energy connecting with you now, and they put a tick and 9 out of 10. So you got quite a high score, I have to say to you. And I feel that this teaching energy, thank you, it feels like a masculine energy that you would have known at school. I have a gentleman of about 6'2". He has a scientific feeling to him, so I feel he would have probably been on the more, what I call science-based subjects rather than... All right, he's laughing. He said, well, I wouldn't have done woodwork anyway. But I feel he would have been on the... So that would be either maths or sciences. And I feel, again, he's reminding you of... They keep coming through with discipline, discipline. You are a very strongly disciplined individual. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All right, excuse me. The Martha energy is just laughing. She said, tell her we're not counting the cream cakes, all right? Especially during the last 4 months, okay? That's wiped clean. No one's been looking at the bars of chocolates in the bottom of the fridge, okay? But they're talking about your commitment to work for spirit. And thank you, sir. This science energy, this teacher is saying to me, your commitment has been so precise that even when you've been tired and weary and you've had enough, and the spirit world have just pushed you that little bit more and said, and what about that one? What can you do there? You've gone, okay, God, take me, use me. And they're getting very emotional now because the one thing the spirit world loves is a worker. No matter how you work and what you call yourself, if you do God's work, you are a worker for the world of spirit. And they want to say, thank you very much, sweetheart, and God bless you, okay? Thank you. Can I come to the young man next to you that you've borrowed for the night? Thank you. Would you understand why the month of March suddenly was above your head, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so I know we have gone to the right young man and you're not hiding anyone else around the back there. Okay, come on. Oh, I have a determined gentleman coming in. I want to say he's 5'10", 5'11". He doesn't quite make the 6 foot mark. He's like you and I. There's a bit of padding, shall I put it that way. He's laughing now and he's saying, and possibly a little less hair than you currently have. So I feel that he would have been balding, thinning first quite quickly, but then, thank you, sir. He said he had a bald pate. That's how he put it, okay. I want to have a business energy around this man, so I know you would have been comfortable in office-type places. He didn't feel out of place there. Thank you. He said, I was just as much at ease on the shop floor as in an office. Would you understand that sort of mindset, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Because I want to go with the mindset that works with white-collar energy as opposed to blue-collar energy. Thank you. Because he's saying to me, I could hold my own with any Joe Bloggs.
Yes.
He said, but I learnt with the others, the white-collar workers, I had to listen more than I spoke. Would you understand that sentiment, sir? And I know that as he's bringing that point of view through, he's saying that you've done a lot of listening in your life, and at times you felt people have been so overwhelmed by their own situations that they just couldn't see a way out of things. Do you understand?
Yes.
And far be it from you to say, well, if I was you, I'd do this. He's saying you drew within yourself to find a sounding board energy that would allow them to hear their own words coming back at them. Do you understand?
Yes.
because he's saying to me, you always believed that it was important that we helped ourselves, that we made the choices. Thank you, sir. He said, you very much believe in the principle of free will. Is that not right, sir? Okay. And so for you, it's important that you gave back to the person an energy which would give them clarity, insight, and the ability to move forward. Thank you. I have an elderly lady just intruding now, and she took my attention to the picture. I'm assuming that's meant to be either Jesus or Moses at the back there. Thank you. So I know this lady would have been what I call traditional church, because she was latching onto the picture. In you come, sweetheart. She is small. As I say, I'm 4'9". I'd make her 5'2", 5'3". She has, a thin build, because I can see the sinews in her forearms, and her hair is quite dark grey. It was taken back. She wasn't determined. She was the boss, is how she put it to me. So I know she was a very powerful lady in her family. She said, she's very cheeky. She just said, from her lips to God's ears, so you didn't mess around with her. Do you understand, please? But having said that, her whole drive was the family, was the loved ones, was those that belonged to her. Do you understand? And can I also give you a pastoral setting? Because I just saw what I will loosely describe as a tractor just going up past behind you. So I want to be somewhere that was much more countrified than town-based. Would you understand that, please? Can you look where the lady's concerned, please?
Yes.
Okay, because she's just put a pair of Wellingtons on me now. And I felt sometimes for her, peace was literally tramping through the fields. Even when because she's showing me, you know, when the tractor goes through, you get those huge furrows. And she's saying, even then, she said, I was closer to God than listening to some of the nonsense that got spoken in our churches. And she's talking about any church, please, not this church, any church. Because she said she believed that God's energy and God's presence was in everything that had life, every seed that was planted, every animal, every human being, even those she didn't like, she said. And I feel that you knew if this lady didn't like you. Can I put it that way? She may not say anything, but I can almost feel the vibes coming off her in waves. She had a way of giving you an old-fashioned look. But I want to say about her, you know, we used to say salt to the earth. Good Christian soul. Those would equally apply to this lady, because I know she lived her life never doing any harm. And on that basis, I want to go back to what was said about you giving people the power to make decisions. Now, I don't know if you teach in any capacity at all, sir.
No.
Spiritually, have you ever considered teaching, tutoring, supporting?
I support some people and maybe teaching in the old profession.
You see him? Get his name on a list, will you? All right. Thank you. What I'm being told is that your good sound common sense, your clarity of vision is very important when we're teaching spiritual paths, because we've got to do away with nonsense. We've got to deal with fact, reason, logic, because God ain't stupid, let's be frank. And there are times when, shall I say, this understanding can be a bit too airy-fairy. Can I put it that way for you? We've all got to live out there in that harsh, cruel world. And so, a dear old medium that I remember well used to say, this is the age of reason. Please use yours. So I do feel the spirit world wants you to work on that vibration in the future. So I look forward to seeing what happens, okay? God bless you, sir. Thank you for working with me. Can I... Oh, two ladies in the corner. The energy's just sat between you, so please both listen for a moment, okay? Oh, right. I think I'm going to Lady in Red. There's a young man singing Lady in Red, actually, so I know I'm going to you. Okay. Chris de Burgh on, isn't it? Yeah, okay, right. I don't know, he just told me. Okay. As this young man comes in, he reminds me of my son, who's 27, university, that sort of energy. Cheeky. In fact, more of a parent than the parent at times. Would you understand that? Yeah, no, mine's telling me off at the moment. I'm in his bad books. But having said that, I want to give you a love that's so powerful, he's overwhelming me. Do you understand this? Sorry. Back off, darling. If you could market his hugs, darling, you'd be a millionaire. Do you understand? Because I feel so safe in this young man's arms. So blessed safe and blessed. I feel really blessed. Knowing him was a joy. Can I put it that way to you? And being around him every day could be quite trying because there's a lot of energy there. But it was also enchanting, exhilarating. And I was so proud of his energy. Do you understand this? In fact, I'm laughing at him now because he's really quite cheeky. And he'd taken me to the picture of the bearded priest behind you and he said, I was no Eli. He said, but I did know things, didn't I? He said, and at times you said, where did that come from? Because you felt, oh, sorry, microphone. You felt it was almost like an old soul wrapped up in a young body. Yeah. He said, I didn't like it first time round either. Because he really couldn't stand duplicity. Do you understand this? You could steal his money, borrow his car, but don't lie to him because he said it hurt my soul. And that's very much an ethic he lived by. Even when it got him in trouble, he tells me, he'd rather tell the truth. And I know it got him in trouble with the young females because he's just telling me that, okay? You know, don't ever say to him, does my bum look big in this? Because you got a straight answer, okay? I love his energy. He is so positive. And I know he's been around you because he's moved a few things, hasn't he? Yeah. Don't swear, please. Yeah, but he said, I just like to keep her on her toes. But he did put an extra word in, which I won't. As if to say, have you noticed I've been? You know, you come down in the morning, what's that doing there? Have you noticed I've been? It's his calling card, that's all it is. Thank you. He's just changing energy. He said he wants you not to worry that his lifetime was too short to achieve what he needed to do, because that's not the case. And I know from the powerful spirit he is that he's continuing his work from the other side of life. And I know he uses and works through you. I want to help people of similar age and younger. Do you understand this? And I feel it's a bit like almost open home, because I feel you think, what's this person doing turning up now? And who have you brought along? It's like the lost and the lonely are coming to your doors in dribs and drabs. And it's his influence, I need to say to you. Because he says, it's not just that you need somewhere to put all that love. Because you do, don't you? He said you need to do something with your hugs and your cuddles, because they were such a big part of him and you. Do you understand? Yeah. And there's nothing worse than not having something to hug or cuddle. And he's laughing now. He's saying stuffed toys really don't work, do they? It's not the same thing. He said you need to feel bone and muscle, and you need to know that that human being is responding to your touch. Okay, the month of November's just shot over your head, darling. So I need you to look around for a family anniversary or passing or birthday, something along those lines. Okay. That's all right. When you go home, it'll hit you. It always does later. But I also want you to look for a naval connection, please. Because I can see a naval uniform. You understand? Okay. And I feel this is standing to attention, like protective and watching over you. Can I give you that energy, please? Okay. Now, I don't know what you call them. Those big squeeze box things were accordions, weren't they? I've got someone stood behind you playing an accordion, and I feel I want to go back to when you were very young, that would have been someone in the street where you lived or in that vicinity who played an accordion, because you just don't see them these days. And it's proper, you know, the big ones, not the little squeeze boxes, but the big ones where you had to go in and out. And this gentleman who's playing it's very proud of his skill. So I feel I need to take you a long way back. And I'm asking him, why is it important that you remember it? And he's just saying to me, that even as a child, you had such a bright light. He said that you were a joy to be around, and he always loved to play positive, upbeat music when you were around. So I feel he would have visited your parents, this gentleman, okay? That's fine, don't worry. He's giving you his validation. He's coming back to thank you that even as a very young child, you were something that gave him hope, gave him love and positivity, okay? So I'm going to say, God bless you, sweetheart, and jump to the lady next to you. No, that's all right. Oh, you were ever so much like your grandmother, I'm being told. Would you understand that? Which one? I feel I want to stick with mother's side. Facially, I'm getting that to your left, and that's for me is always mother's side, okay? Maybe, all right. Am I speaking loud enough for you? Yes. Okay, all right. Because, you know, just wave at me, semaphore or something, okay? Because I see this face behind your left shoulder, and the hair colouring's different, I need to say to you. But I want to say that the cheeks and the shape of the chin are very, very similar. And this lady's energy comes across as a little bit steely. I feel she's this. I want to take my glasses off and give you an old-fashioned look. And the reason I'm putting them back on, because she said, you never did that. She said, you never actually mastered the steely look, did you? Because you do that, you see, you giggle. And she's saying, I used to get so frustrated because I'd go to tell her off and she'd be giggling away and her shoulders are going up and down. And before I knew it, I had to turn around and walk away because I couldn't stay angry. Do you understand this? So for all this lady's steely determination, she had a big soft spot for you. I've got to say that to you. And thank you. She just said, and you knew it because you used it. Isn't that right? Yes, and who did the... Oh, all right. You know the old-fashioned jam tarts that would be very wide? Who was it that made those regularly, please? Because I've got them in front of you and they're just red or lemon curd. There's no third choice. Red, which would probably be... Okay, well, just take that as a gift as well. How the... sorry. Lemon curd. You know, come on. No. Strawberry jam, not lemon curd. All right. Okay. So I know that energy is coming in. Again, it's memories. It's reflecting on things. Yes, I understand. I want to go back to that first lady because I was missing what she was talking about there. And she said, we've all had to do some serious reflection this year, but there have been issues of the heart that you have been reflecting long and hard about. Do you understand this? And she said, you never did it alone, my darling. You didn't do it alone. We stood beside you because she said we knew we needed to raise you up at this time. Thank you. She said the phrase heartbroken is used so glibly these days, but you knew what that meant, didn't you? She said, but let me tell you, thank you. She said, we put a big patch on it now, and it's healing. And she said that there will be things to bring more light and more upliftment coming into your life. And I want to say to you, she shows me the rest of the year unfolding. So I feel that will lighten and raise your spirits as the year goes on. Thank you. Now I'm being shown, oh, it's a frigate. You must have known someone, again with associations with the Royal Navy, because someone just said to me it's a frigate. You understand? That's a warship of some sort, because it's grey. It's not very pretty, okay? But if I stay with that vibration, going back, you knew someone who served on the old liners, please. Someone was talked about in the family who served on the steward. I'm being told by this gentleman he was a steward on the liners. So somebody would have talked, yeah, you got, all right, well, he's here. He's just literally come to say hello because I want to go way back in time for him. Would you understand that? Because he's so immaculately dressed. And I almost feel that, you know, he would have saluted you. He was so disciplined in his role. Thank you. And he's just saying to me that the sad thing about that time of life was the disparity between those in the big cabins and those in steerage. Would you understand that? And I know as he's taking me down into the bowels of the ship for the steerage, he tells me that you've had some sort of connection with, if not homelessness, people in need. Do you understand this? Okay. Because I have this overwhelming wish to do something constructive, something productive that comes from looking how the other half have lived. No, he's correcting me. How the other half existed. Because, thank you, he's saying that if it's quality of life we're talking about, that's not quality of life. Thank you. And he's saying, with all the politics on the move at the moment, every life matters. And every life should matter. Because every child, every baby, every living organism is our future potential. And this gentleman, I feel, was a very respectful man in his life. And he would never have done a harm or a disservice to anyone. And he's thanking you for the energy you put out for those who need more help and more support. Just before they're leaving, who used to make a Battenberg cake from scratch, please? Okay, well, it's just appeared on your lap, darling. So, so you've got a nice Battenberg there for tea. We'll come round and have a size. Can I say, God bless you, thank you for working with me. Can I come to you, sweetheart? Thank you. Oh, I have a lovely gentleman catching my attention. And he's tall, slim build. I want to say silver hair, but he said silver fox. So he's being a bit cheeky about himself. He thinks he's quite a good-looking man. He is, I have to give him that. Lovely features. I feel he was very well educated, very patient in nature. But he's not telling me who he is. But can I say to you, without being very rude, I feel a great emotion between the two of you. Would you understand that?
Can't place at the moment.
All right, can I keep working with him? Because I almost want to say to you, if he wasn't a beau, he should have been a beau, because he has that deep affection for you. So you must have known this gentleman in life, because he's not a family vibration, he's not giving me that at all. And I feel that there is a sense, again, of not just intellect, but I have intelligence as well as intellect. And I feel it's a sort of man who enjoyed a bit of repartee, a bit of banter. And I want to say to you, he's probably, as I look at him, a good 20 years senior to you, but he absolutely adores you. So I feel this is someone you would have known possibly about 15 years back. But bear in mind, he would have been 20 years older than you. But I really have to tell you, he had a very soft eye for you. Can I put it that way? So, all right, Sandy, are you happy for me to bring him in closer? All right. He's very cheeky. He said, better to meet now than never at all. Okay. I feel that the vibration he comes from would have been a work-based vibration, whatever you did at the time, because I've got very much office-type settings around you. And this man has a feeling, as I say, of intelligence, intellect, and decision-making. So I know he would have had some sort of ranking position in the office because, thank you, he's just put weight on my shoulders. So I know he would have carried responsibilities when you'd have been, thank you, he said footloose and fancy-free, but he was talking about your energy, do you understand? I wish you'd give me your name. William. William appears in his name. He may have been known as Bill or Will, I'm not sure, but I need you to go back that far. And I'm asking him why he's here and not someone closer to you. He tells me that over the last 12, 18 months, you've been considering some options in life. Do you understand what he's talking about? No. All right. What I'm seeing is not lots of financial paper, but papers where I have to think about finances. I have to think about long-term projects. I have to think about future direction. Do you understand that, please? And he, because of his experience in life, has been trying to influence your thinking to find the right pathway for you. Because I almost feel that I want to turn a corner in your life now. Does this make sense? And he's laughing. He's saying, and I'm making sure she turns the right corner, not the wrong one. So I feel that because of his attachment to you, he is trying to influence your thinking. Now, thank you. He says he will stress that it's always down to free will, and he accepts that. But he says where finances impinge on your thoughts, he wants to make sure all options are considered, please. Okay. Something's going to open up for you because as he's turned that corner, he literally pushed open a heavy door. So I know the step forward that you're going to make is going to be advantageous. I do feel that. And I feel that it must involve some spiritual work of some description, please. Okay. Do you do anything with colours, can I ask you? I can see that because you know what I mean by an aurograph, don't you? Have you ever done auragraphs? Can I show you? Would you please do yourself a favour, go and look at some of the very early auragraphs, which are very complex, but then start with, you know, Da Vinci's man, but minus the extra legs and arms. Start with that sort of figure and put your colours in as you feel them, using your own interpretation because I love colours, I work with them a lot, and he's showing me how your mediumship is very much attuned to auragraphs, and they can be very proactive in the advice that comes through an aurograph. It'll show past conditions and future potential as well as the current situation. So look at the old ones first. If you do look at them online, you'll find they're very complex. They used to draw all sorts of little figures in them. Whereas today what we're looking for is clearer direction. And although they were beautiful pieces of art, today it's all about, I see, all right. If he's taken me to your left shoulder, okay, left side, auric field is your karmic side, it's your emotional side, it's your spiritual side. And I want to say to you, he's putting red, for example, above your left shoulder, which tells me that you have carried anger in part of your life over a situation. Do you understand that? And of course, when we work with auragraphs, what we do is we show how that then changes colour as we transmute it with the development that we're doing, because he's now taken it to pink here, which tells me you've worked through an awful lot of that anger. So I know he wants you to do some work, and as I say, it's an absolutely fascinating field to do. Sorry, he's trying to give me the name of a pioneer of auragraphs, and it's gone right out of my head. I can't get it back. But there are a lot of good spirit artists, and some of them are very traditional. You know, it's about figures and faces, but others will work with the vibration of the colour so that there's an imagery there, but the colour is what gives the information. Thank you. He's saying you've needed to be given something to do for some time. He said, and you were almost stamping your feet at the spirit world, saying, well, for goodness sake, guys, there's all that need out there. I'm sitting here doing nothing. Give me something to do. All right. He said, you might just live to regret that. Because the spirit world love a worker. Would you understand why the name Bridget keeps trying to interfere, please? Does Bridget mean anything to you at all on the earth plane? Oh, I know it does, the lady behind you. Can I just check, you two haven't got Bridget on the earth plane, have you? You have? Bridget on the earth plane.
I know the Bridget back in time.
But she'd be on the other side.
Well, I haven't saw that.
All right, well, hold that thought for a minute. Can I just give you their blessings and say, please look into the aurograph? And I'm going to try, sir, if I may come to you. Okay. Because the name Bridget was trying to break through the consciousness. I know it was trying to make a link. Can I say Bridget's not family, though? It doesn't feel like family, please.
It's a female, but no, not family.
No, that's right, yeah. Yeah, I got the idea that she's female, called Bridget. No, I'm teasing you, darling. I'm teasing you because that's the energy that's coming through. I've got a great sense of fun coming through. And I want to say, although they gave the name Bridget, it's a gentleman that's coming through. And he said to me, he's my old mucker. So this is someone you knew in your working life, sir. And if I describe him, I want to say he's like a 6'2" soldier because he's standing broad, upright, stiff-backed. Would you understand that? And you understand the phrase, my old mucker? Because he tells me the two of you were often up to mischief, sir.
Well, we did work together, but...
Yeah, he's not talking about work. He's talking about getting up to naughty shenanigans sometimes. Would you understand that? I want to say nothing bad that would have got you arrested, right? Nothing bad. But things that were a bit mischievous is what this gentleman's bringing in. Because he's saying to me, you look at him now, butter wouldn't melt in his mouth. You knew him 40 years ago. Yeah, he said he'd give you a run for your money. So I know the two of you shared fun, mischief, but you also shared a great strength. Would you understand, in the phrase, my old mucker, to him he's talking about compatriots, comradeship, strength of friendship. Would you understand that? And as he says that, you also know where those went over during the last World War, please. And not just one or two, quite a few, he's saying. And they exhibited true compatriots, yes? And this gentleman, he's saying it's been a difficult couple of years for you, but he wants you to know all those on the other side that you knew that would be as naughty as you, given the chance, have been surrounding you like a guard of honour, sir. Thank you. And he's saying, and don't you think for 1 second that you're going anywhere, right? He said, I told St. Peter, I can't swear, to put a something lock on the gate. All right? So please let your mind rest about those health fears, because you've got your own guard of honour bringing their energy for you, please. And who's Vera calling? Vera?
Yes.
Yeah, because just calling quickly. Where is the Roman Catholic connection? Because someone's saying, don't forget Saint Bernadette. Now, you didn't know her, but they're giving me that as a Roman Catholic link. So someone would have belonged to the Catholic Church, please.
I can take somebody, but when you mentioned Bernadette, I keep thinking of that, the song of Bernadette. It was a film, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a film, you're right, yes. Okay, but they give me things in particular ways to catch my attention. And I didn't see that film. I know it was a film, so I can't tell you what it was about. Thank you. The gentleman said long-suffering, so I don't think he found it that interesting a film, I'm afraid. Okay, now I just want to bring in a mother's energy catching my attention, a bit of a fussy sort of person. Would you understand that? Because as she comes in close to you, I feel she suffered a bit with her chest in the winter months, please, because she wanted to pull your mask up, because she said to me, I don't want him catching no infections. So I know she's still keeping an eye on you, please. All right, and she's drawing my attention to your arm, but you knew someone who lost part of an arm, please. That's right, because she was just drawing my attention to it. And I feel it was in some sort of accident. Can I say that to you?
Yes, this person you're talking about worked in a coal mine.
Right.
And they had a fall.
Because I felt it had to be industrial. That was the energy she was giving me. Okay, all right, darling. And as she's coming in close, she's just saying to you, don't be so pedantic now. He said, she said, you're old enough to let things slide. So you've got to stop worrying about every I being dotted and every T being crossed. And she said, learn to go with the flow. Do you understand that? And she's talking about the flow of the spirit energy that's around you. Because there's a wonderful light surrounds you, because you worry too much, sir. Can I say that to you? So let it go and go with the flow, okay? God bless you, darling. I think I'm being called to time by upstairs. Can I say thank you for working with me, and I'm sorry I didn't get round more of you, ladies and gentlemen.
Elaine, thank you so much. Absolutely beautiful service. Very quickly, just a few notices for the week. On Wednesday, live here in the church and online, we have Barbara Breeze. And next Sunday at 3 o'clock, again live here in the church and online, we have Janet Emily May. Online events on Monday night, we have meditation at 7 o'clock. Then we have another meditation Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And Saturday night, we're going to be doing our first Zoom mediumship night, and we're going to have the lovely Deb Clark. Those of you who watch us through the restrictions, remember Deb, the lady on the boat. She's just moved, so she's going to do a night of mediumship for us, but that will be through Zoom platform online, so watch out for further details of that. All that remains to do now is to ask the wonderful Elaine for the closing blessing. Thank you, my darling.
If we can come together once more, dear friends. Divine and ever-loving Spirit, we thank you for the time we have shared here together. And in particular, we know that we have handed over to you our worries and fears. And we are giving them to you in the sure knowledge that whatever advice or guidance or healing we require will be returned to us full. We ask that whatever we receive, we can also share with those who cross our paths in the coming days. And we ask that the loving prayers, the healing prayers that go out from each one of us are magnified by your ministering angels, so that those in need have a tangible sense of your presence and are constantly protected and guided and led forward into your light. Amen.
Amen. Elaine, thank you so much. Beautiful service. Thank you all for joining us today here in the church, and thank you too to those watching us online. All that remains for me to do now is just to ask that when you are leaving the church, could you please be mindful of others. If you wish to have a conversation and that's absolutely great, maybe best off doing that out front in the fresh air. But thank you all for attending. It means so much to us. Bless you.